I know you want to become a better pot stealer. You want to improve your win rates and your red line, and you want to take more than your fair share of pots away from your opponent. You want to make successful check raises, four bets, double barrels, and even over bets, and you want to crush your opponents with your aggression. This is why you need to get my new course, the How to Steal More Pots course. Get the course at smartpokerstudy.com/how-to-steal-more-pots course. That's one word, smartpokerstudy.com/how-to-steal-more-pots course. You will learn how to perfectly execute 9 different steals. The 3-bet bluff, 3-bet bluffing versus ISO raisers, 4-bet bluffing pre-flop, C-bet bluffing flops, double barrel C-bet bluffing, over-bet bluffing on turns, check raise bluff flops, attack checks with in-position floats, and lastly, attack checks with out-of-position probes. The How to Steal More Pots course comes with over 14 hours of video coaching through 42 training videos. There are strategy videos teaching you the perfect aspects to each steal, review videos to help you refine your steal strategies, and quizzes to test your stealing skills. There are downloads and checklists to keep your stealing practice on track and to turn you into a confident and profitable pot stealer. You get full access for life with all future course updates included for just one low price of $99. That's over $200 off the normal $300 price tag. So go to smartpokerstudy.com/how-to-steal-more-pots course right now to become a pot stealing master. smartpokerstudy.com/how-to-steal-more-pots course. I'm looking forward to teaching you to steal more pots. Good day, my name is Sky, and I appreciate you spending some study time with me. I'm here to help you make money in online poker by teaching you key strategies and getting you to take action. Now, I try not to shy away from the mistakes that I make when I'm playing poker, so much so that I often use those mistaken hands in my coaching. And the reason why is because I believe that mistakes are really your avenue for growth in poker. So let's dive into that. 4 reasons why you should be paying attention to your mistakes and how you can actively learn from them. Let's roll into it. Gambate!
Oops, you made a mistake, that's all. And making mistakes is never fun. To say, oops, I made a mistake, that's all. And mistakes can happen to anyone.
To help you take notes with today's episode, go to the show notes page, smartpokerstudy.com/pod530. Now, in my coaching, whether it's YouTube, the podcast, thepokerforge.com, even in my books, I like to teach you with my great plays and my mistakes. And there are 4 reasons why I utilize my mistakes in my coaching. A is that I want to learn and grow from my mistakes. Reason 2, you can learn from my mistakes. Reason D, mistakes help you consider your options. And then reason Z, mistakes lead to exceptional performance. Let's hit one of these at a time, starting with reason A, I want to learn and grow from my mistakes. So one of my favorite bands, 21 Pilots, they have a song called Shied Away. And actually, I have the album right here. Love this album, absolutely. But in the song Shy Away, one of the key lines in the chorus is you manifest a ceiling when you shy away. When you hide from your mistakes, when you do not go back and review them, you cannot learn from them. Now, I have an example hand right here. Ace, queen suited. I am in the cutoff. We get an early position or under the gun limper. We get a fold. And with ace, queen suited, I'm brand new at this table. Not much history at all. But I decide to ISO raise to 5 big blinds. I want this limper all to myself, right? With ace, queen suited, gotta do this. We get one fold in the button, but then the small blind calls. The big blind calls. The limper calls. So my ISO raise, intending to get one player, the limper, all to myself, ended up multi-way. I'm in the best position in the cutoff versus the small blind, big blind, and the limper. 20 big blind pot. I have ace, queen of clubs. The flop comes down, king, 6, deuce, rainbow, no club on the board, right? The small blind checks. The big blind donks 1 big blind into the pot. The limper folds versus the 1 big blind, and I just call. That is my first mistake. I'll get to why in just a second. And then the small blind calls as well. So we're still multi-way, 23 big blinds in the pot. The turn comes a 10 of hearts, making the board king, 10, 6, deuce, 2 hearts. I have ace queen of clubs, so all I have is a gut shot and one over card, right? The small blind checks. The big blind limper checks. And what do? I check back as well. Yeah, like I said, this is a mistaken hand, right? I mean, I can show you right now. I tagged this right after I played this hand. I tagged this as my unhappy or my sad face mistake tag. So I checked back. The river comes a 4 of spades, making the board king, 10, 6, 4, deuce, no flush draw possible. The small blind comes out firing for 2 big blinds. The big blind calls. And what do I do with my nut no pair ace queen on the king high board? I decide to call as well. I think that's a third mistake in this hand. The pot is 29 big blinds. The small blind had pocket 5s. The big blind, he had 7-9 offsuit. And I had my ace queen. The pocket 5s ended up winning this hand right here. This is an absolute mistake, and I'm so glad I tagged it and I reviewed this hand later, because the key mistake all goes back to the flop. Now, one of the big things, if you don't know this already, when somebody donk bets 1 big blind, it's often a blocking bet. They have a weak pair or a weak draw or nothing at all. They're just hoping for the cheapest bluff in the world. This big blind player bet 1 big blind into 20. I have ace queen, the nut no pair, on the king high board right here. And calling is an absolute mistake. What I should have done was raised as a bluff. As we saw at Showdown, he had 7-9 offsuit. On the king 6 deuce, he had nothing whatsoever, right? I probably would have gotten him to fold. But here's the great thing about raising. Let's imagine I raise anywhere from 8 to like 12 or 13 big blinds or so. Most likely, they're all going to fold, especially seeing the results. Small blind had pocket 5s and the big blind had 9-7 offsuit. Yeah, they probably would have folded. But I'm in position. If I made it 8 or even 12 big blinds, somewhere in that range, they would have checked turn and river on those cards, and I could have checked back if I felt the need. But when that 10 came on the turn to give me a gut shot, I could have double barreled, and I could have potentially gotten both of these players to fold at that time, right? Aggression would have worked, and then I had ace queen, the nut no pair. If the turn comes a blank and the river comes a blank, I could check back both streets and potentially win with my ace queen high hand, right? All the reason in the world to make this raise. This call is an absolute mistake. Now, when it comes to your mistakes, hiding from your mistakes means that you cannot learn from them. If I would have deleted this hand, if I would have not tagged it, would have never gone back into my database to actively look at my mistakes and figure out, what I could have done better, I would still be the same player, potentially making the same mistake over and over again. Now, one of the attitudes I like to have while playing, and definitely after playing while I'm going through my hands, doing a database review, I like to have the attitude of mistakes are my friends. They tell me what I need to work on. After finding this mistake, now I can go through my database and maybe find other hands where I call just a 1 or maybe even a 2 big blind donk bet when I had position with a decent hand. I bet you I made this mistake once, but maybe in the past, 2-3 months, I've probably repeated this mistake 4 or 5 additional times as well. Going back and reanalyzing, maybe not reanalyzing, but analyzing those repeated mistakes will help me learn from them. That takes us to reason number 2 for why I show you my mistakes. It's because you can learn from my mistakes. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "Learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all yourself." Absolutely true. Me showing you my mistakes, like in this example, ace queen suited, calling that 1 big blind donk bet when I was the ISO raiser preflop, I'm telling everybody that I got a crap hand. And that's why I show this to you. Learn from my mistake. Here's the thing. You could say to yourself after you heard me go through this ace queen suited hand, if Sky did this by calling that 1 big blind donk bet and it was a mistake, but he should have done that, he should have raised that donk bet for all those various reasons, I'll do that next time. So you can learn from my mistakes so easily when you're taking notes on whatever video that you're watching. Yes, take note of the good plays, but take note of the mistakes and then write down also what that play is that you should have made instead of that mistaken play. Now, I know you want to become a better pot stealer. You want to improve your win rates and your red line, and you want to take more than your fair share of pots away from your opponents. You want to make successful check raises, 4 bets, double barrels, over bets, and you want to crush your opponents with your aggression. This is why you need to get my new course, the How to Steal More Pots course. You can get it at thepokerforge.com/how-to-steal-more-pots course. you will learn how to perfectly execute 9 different steals. The 3-bet bluff pre-flop, 3-bet bluffing versus ISO raisers, 4-bet bluffing pre-flop, C-bet bluffing flops, double barrel C-betting, over-bet bluffing turns, check raise bluffing on the flop, attacking checks with in-position floats, and attacking checks with out-of-position probes. The How to Steal More Pots course comes with 42 training videos, 27 steal-related videos, and 15 bonus videos. That's over 14 hours of video coaching. Useful downloads, including Excel spreadsheets to help you take notes, and checklists to keep your steal practice on track. You get full access for life with all future course updates included. The regular price is $300, but for a limited time, save over $200 and get it for just $99. Also, a 30 days money-back guarantee. So go to thepokerforge.com/how-to-steal-more-pots course right now to pick this up and save over $200. Become a confident and profitable pot stealer. Now, that takes us to reason D. Mistakes help you consider your options. Now, here is a great quote from a book that I love, or a manga that I love. It's called Spy Family. Love this one. There's a character named Sigmund who's introduced in volume 13 later on in the series, right? But he says, whenever you find a pitfall, it makes the road easier to walk the next time. Absolutely love that quote, and that is true, right? You can avoid the pitfall. You see this mistake that I made, calling the one big blind donk bet. You're walking down the road, a player makes a donk bet, you have such a great hand like ace-queen suited on a hard-to-hit king-6 deuce kind of board, you see that pitfall of calling coming up right now. Well, what can you do to avoid that pitfall? Well, you can walk around it, you can jump over that pitfall, you can look to your right and see, hey, there's a different street over there. Let me take that street and make a different play than that mistake of calling. And the thing is that you're a no-limit hold'em player. Well, in no-limit hold'em, you have a few different options as general plays to make. You can bet, you could check, call, you can fold, you can raise. So in this instance, when I called, I had 2 other options. I could have folded and exited the hand, basically choosing a different street, or maybe turning back around and avoiding the pitfall altogether. Or I could have raised, and maybe that jumps over or walks around that pitfall in the street. And there's also an interesting thing. We're no-limit hold'em. We can bet 1 big blind up to 1,000 big blinds, however big our stack is, right? And earlier I said that I could have raised this 1 big blind donk bet between 8 to 12 big blinds. I could have also raised 5 and then made a bigger one on the turn. I could have raised and tried to put him all in. He only had 58 big blinds behind in his stack. I had 92. I could have shoved him all in right there. I have all these different options. What the goal is with finding your mistakes is that now your mind is open up to what are my options? What can I do to avoid this pitfall in the future? And now that takes us to reason Z for why I teach with my mistakes. Mistakes lead to exceptional performance. So this is another quote. I love this one from The One Thing. In last week's podcast, I talked about The One Thing as well. This is an incredible book. But here's the quote from page 94 of the book. Extraordinary results are not built solely on extraordinary results. They're built on failure too. When we fail, we stop, ask what we need to do to succeed, learn from our mistakes, and grow. Don't be afraid to fail. See it as part of your learning process and keep striving for your true potential. Now, in this hand right here, I made this mistake. Now I'm going to learn from it. And the fact that I tagged this hand and I'm coming back to it, and actually I'm doing double studying, right? I played the hand, made a mistake, and tagged it. Then I reviewed it in my database. Now I'm sharing it with you. 2 ways of studying this hand. I'm doubly learning from it. You're learning from it singularly, I guess, or single order learning from this mistake right now, right? But just me reiterating it, reteaching this mistake to you is helping me learn it even better. Love this. Now, when it comes to mistakes leading to exceptional performance, you guys probably have heard Michael Jordan. He won more games with the last Hail Mary, last ditch shot at the end of the game, right? Well, he actually, when you do the math on it, he actually missed more than he made. But the fact that he kept on attempting that last minute game winning shot, he won quite often. He would not have made all of those successes in his games. He wouldn't have all those NBA championships if he wasn't willing to take that final shot, right? And you guys know Thomas Edison as well, the inventor of the incandescent light bulb. When asked about his various or over 1,000 mistakes on making the bulb, he had a different attitude. These weren't necessarily mistakes. He found 1,000 ways to not make the light bulb. Well, if we think about this ace-queen suited hand, I found one way to not make money in this hand, to not get my opponents to fold when I did not have a made hand, right? So if I look at it that way with a different perspective, I can now work through my mistakes to find more success in poker. Now that is going to take us to our action step. Step number 1, please like the video. If you like the video, leave a comment down below. And I would love it if you told me about a huge mistake that you made in a recent hand. Now, action step number 2, do not delete or shy away from your mistakes. Embrace them, review them, and learn from them in order to grow as a poker player. And lastly, I want to give you a tactical thing that you can do. Create a mistake tag. And my mistake tag has that little green unhappy face on it, right? Use that mistake tag when you make the mistake and then review all of those hands later on. The goal with this process is to simply learn from your mistakes and grow as a poker player. Ask yourself, why did I make this mistake? Was it a strategy issue? Was it a pay attention issue? Was it a mental game issue? When you figure out why the mistake occurred, you have a better chance of not repeating it, of making a better play in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and gambate!
Anyone can make a mistake. Anyone can make a mistake. Happens every day, and you never know when. The thing to do when it happens to you is try to figure out what went wrong and try a little harder to make it go right when you start